The topic we are going to discuss today is cell. What is this cell? All living organisms and all living forms are made up of microscopic or very small units which are called as cells. Thus, we can say that the cell is the structural and functional unit of all living organisms. The study of cell, or we can say the study of the structure and composition of cell is called cytology. Now let us see how these cells were first discovered. How we got to know that all living organisms are made up of very small units which are called cells. So the first cell was discovered by Robert Hooke. Discovered by Robert Hooke. He observed the first dead cell in a dead cork slice in the year 1665. He mentioned about this in his book called Microscopes. But he wrote the book Microscopes and he derived the word cell from the Greek word cellulae, which means a small room. So we can say all living organisms are composed of various small compartments which are called cellulae, and the word cell is derived from it. The cell which Robert Hooke observed was a dead cell. The first living cell was observed by A.V. Leeuwenhoek. So the first dead cell was observed by Robert Hooke in the year 1665, and the first living cell was observed by A.V. Leeuwenhoek. Protoplasm, which is the substance which is filled inside a cell, was discovered by Felix Dujardin. But he had named it sarcode. The term protoplasm was coined by Purkinje in 1839. protoplasm consistency differs in different conditions. That means it occurs in a solution or a gel-like state. Now, what is this protoplasm made up of? It consists of various substances, various chemicals, such as water, ions, salts, and other organic molecules like proteins, carbohydrates, fats, nucleic acids, vitamins, etc. Now, depending on the number of cells which are present in living organisms can be divided into unicellular and multicellular. In unicellular organisms, as the name suggests, there is a single cell, and this cell performs all the functions like excretion, respiration, digestion, etc. The examples of these organisms can be amoeba, euglena, paramecium, etc. In multicellular organisms, as the name suggests, there are many cells. Cells are first grouped together and they form tissues. Tissues form organs, and the organs form organisms. There is division of labor. That is, different cells perform different kinds of functions. In multicellular organisms, there are many cells and there is a division of labor due to the occurrence of many cells. The cells first form tissues, tissues form organs, organs then form the organism, and various functions are performed by different organs. Like there are special organs for excretion, special organs for respiration, special organs for digestion. So these are the features of the multicellular organism. Let us now discuss the cell theory. The cell theory was proposed by Schlegel and Schwann, and it was later on expanded by Rudolf Virchow. However, there is one exception to this theory, and they are viruses, because viruses are acellular entities. What does the cell theory state? It states that all living plants and animals are made up of cells. The second point is cells are the basic unit of life. And third, all cells arise from pre-existing cells. Rudolf Virchow said, "Omnis cellulae e cellular," which means that all cells arise from cells. The multiplication of cells and their growth leads to the growth of an organism. So that was the cell theory. Now let us see how these cells were first discovered. The cells were discovered by using an instrument which is called the microscope. It is used to study very small details . Microscope is used to study small details of small objects, including cells and tissues. The microscope has more than one lenses. The dye used as staining enhances certain areas Examples of the dyes are saffronin, methylene blue, etc. Let us now talk about some microscopes and how they were discovered. The first simple microscope was discovered by Robert Hooke. In the year 1665, and he used it to observe the cell. Another simple but more powerful microscope was built by A.V. Leeuwenhoek. In the year 1672. The first compound microscope, which is used in schools, was built by F. Jensen and Z. Jensen. This is the normal microscope which is used in school laboratories. The first electron microscope was discovered by Noll and Ruska in the year 1932, and it is used to study the ultrastructure of cell and various cell organelles. Let us now talk about the cell shape and cell size. First, we will talk about the shape of cells. The cells have different kinds of shapes, and in certain cells, the cell shape is variable, that is, they are irregular in shape. For example, in amoeba, WBCs, etc. They do not have a definite cell shape, but certain other cells have a fixed shape, and they may be 1. Flattened. For example, skin cells. The upper layer of the skin have a flattened shape. They may be somewhat like these. The second shape may be columnar. For example, the cells lining the intestine. They have a columnar shape. The third shape can be discoidal. Disc shapes, for example, the RBCs. So RBCs are discoidal in shape, having this kind of a shape. The fourth cell shape can be spherical, appearing like a sphere. Like this. The examples of these cells can be the various eggs of animals. The fifth type of the cell shape can be spindle shape. For example, the cells of the smooth muscles. Somewhat like this. shape that a cell can have is elongated. And the examples of these are the nerve cells. The nerve cells are elongated and they have a structure like this. So the nerve cells are elongated. The seventh type of the cell shape can be branched. For example, the pigmented cells of the skin. So these were the different cell shapes. Now let us study about the different cell sizes. The cells can be of various sizes as well. Bacteria can be of the size of 0.2 to 0.5 micrometer, and cells can even be as large as the egg of an ostrich, which is 18 centimeter in diameter. So the cell sizes varies from very small to a very large size. The smallest cell known till today is that of the PPLOs, pleuropneumonia-like organisms, for example the Microscopes. They are about 0.1 to 0.5 micrometer in size. The largest cell is the cell of the egg of ostrich. Which is about 18 centimeter in diameter. The longest cell is that of the nerve cell of the human body, which may be about 90 to 100 centimeters in length, up to 1 meter in length. Let us now talk a little about the cell structure. The cell contains the cell membrane, the nucleus, and the cytoplasm. If we want to see a plant cell and study about it, the plant cell has the protoplast and the cell wall. Now if we talk about the protoplasts, what does the protoplast contain? The protoplast contains the cell membrane and the protoplasm. Now let us see what this protoplasm has. The protoplasm has the nucleus and the cytoplasm. Okay, the nucleus is the headquarters. If we leave it alone and want to see what lies in the cytoplasm, we can talk about it like this. The cytoplasm has the cell organelles and the solution in which the cell organelles lie, which is the cytosol, or you can see the haloplasm. Okay, when we talk about the different cell organelles, they can either be membranous, that means bounded by membranes, or non-membranous, not bounded by a membrane. Now let us see which are the membranous. Okay, the membranous may contain a double membrane or may contain a single membrane. So the double membranous organelles are the mitochondria. Second, the chloroplasts. Or we can see the plastids. And the single membranous organelles are endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus or Golgi bodies, lysosomes, vacuoles, etc. Let us talk about the non-membranous organelles. They may be ribosomes, or they may be cytoskeletal elements. They may be microtubular organelles as well. So now we have a brief detail of the plant cell in front of us. The plant cell contains the protoplasm and the cell wall. The protoplasm may be divided into the cell membrane and the protoplasm. Leave alone the cell membrane, the protoplasm consists of the nucleus and the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm has cell organelles and cytosol in which the organelles are suspended. Cell organelles may be membranous or non-membranous. Talking about the membranous organelles, they may be double membrane or single membraned. And non-membranous are altogether different. They do not contain a membrane. The double membranous organelles are mitochondria, chloroplasts, and the single membranous organelles are the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, vacuoles, etc. The non-membranous cell organelles are the ribosomes, the cytoskeletal elements, and the microtubular organelles. So this is in brief about the cell. The cell, which is the basic structural and functional unit of life.